Okay, gang. So, all right. So, clearly I'm learning a lot about perfectionism. So everybody welcome that I just have to just do what I can do when I can do it, how I can do it, and I'm keeping learning, learning, learning. Very excited. Some of you know that I connected with a few weeks ago to 3I-Atlas, and I have about 11 audio somatic transmissions that I'm going to be sharing. I have shared on Patreon as well as YouTube, Awakenings with Michele on here. It's in a playlist. The first transmission, a little bit about that, but more to come. But one of the things that came through was about music and notes. I have no background other than a little bit of singing. If somebody presses a certain key, I think it's called, I can match that, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So, of course, I texted experts graceunheaoh and Nelson Marquez. I'm gonna do a little intro on them and saying, what does this mean? The note of C, the key of G. So, 3I-Atlas wants us to work with sound tone. They are a frequency. That interstellar beingness is a frequency, not just consciousness. It's a frequency of consciousness. Everything is consciousness made manifest, but different frequencies. So it's a very important frequency that we're getting uplifted, we're getting support from. And one of the ways, and they showed me these visions of all these people playing these notes and different songs with these notes. Now, I didn't really know what they were. What does it mean? What does this mean vibrationally? What does this mean musically? What is a note of C and the key of G? I don't know. So I had to go to some experts. So we have graceunheaoh, who is an amazing sound healer, also works with cranial sacral work, as well as energetic transmissions. She's also a bit of a chef, so she works a lot vibrationally, whether through tone, sound, music, and foods. And then we have Nelson Marquez, which I call a transformational musician, amazing musician, singer, songwriter, producer, but also works with vibration and tone energetically for transformation. If you've heard any of his music or his songs, you would agree. So I want to welcome you both and welcome everyone in the chat. Hopefully I can get to the chat because I want you to ask questions in the chat. I want this to be a conversation. I want to get this conversation going and keep this conversation going because we're in for a ride by what I'm seeing psychically and by the transmission and messages that I'm receiving. So welcome, Grace and Nelson. Welcome.
Thanks, Michele.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So let's jump in, and I'm going to find, while you're talking, I'm going to find where are the chat, because sometimes I don't see it on my phone. It was very interesting, the first contact, and they called it contact connection, which it really is. You get contacted like this ping, this pulsing energy coming into you and just opening, radiating, and it just gets so, I'm almost going to do it again, emotional. So much love. You feel the love, the total acceptance, but it's this uplifting. So you get this contact, then you connect in. It's a vibrational frequency tuning, if you want to call it that. And then the communication. And they're not like you need to do this and Earth needs to do that. And they told me that it's going to be very individual, even though it's collective. Each person will receive what they need to, the messaging, the healing. I cried and cried and cried. I was just bawling, but like a happy joy, a mixture of everything, really. So I had that transmission, that experience. That was about 13 minutes, and I left, did some other things, and then I got pinged again and went back in. And that's when they started talking to me about connecting in through music and how music is so important for us right now. Music, movement, that will connect us in. So the whole thing about this 3I-Atlas, it's somatic. It's bypassing our logic, our reason. It totally overtakes you and you're just feeling all this wave of emotion, whatever needs to come up for you. You're feeling so much. and this amazing heart connection, this feeling of love. It's like if you grace, it's the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, it's grace. It just kind of takes over you. And I even had the next day, I had a lot of somatic stuff going on in my head. I had a lot of pressure, in my head and neck, because it was just so much, even though it's very uplifting and very peaceful and very joyous, it's also it's a very intense energy that just comes into you. So the message they were saying was, you can connect. People are going to be asking, how do we connect into this? So I got a few ways, but it's really connecting in through the etheric, or through your aura, the auric field, into the etheric, into the subtle energy of the all that is. So it's interdimensional, interstellar. And they were here already. It's just that we have shifted enough dimensionally or vibrationally by frequency to connect, that they're piercing. It's a piercing energy. So they said, you can connect in. We're radiating out through the note of C, the key of G. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
A note of C and the key of G.
What is that? What is a note? I'm basic. What is it?
Okay, so
What is a note?
when you were speaking about it before, I wasn't super clear, but now I'm understanding what you're saying. It's if it's the key of G, G would be the tonic, and the note C would be actually a fourth,
Which is the heart chakra.
Okay.
Well,
in the
because
key
I
of
was-
G, C would be the fourth.
Oh,
In the key
I
of
see.
C, G would be the fifth.
I
So,
see.
Well, because
so
I
if
was
she's saying the key of G, note C,
note
G
C,
is
they
now
were
our
very
tonic.
specific, because I said key of G, note of, I was like, note of C, and they're like, no, the note of C, the key of G.
Yes,
Interesting, right? Because you had told me C is the root chakra.
yes.
So we're getting greatly helped, and would make sense with the soul awakening and soul expression, us being more expressive in communication, social media, that G corresponds to the throat.
Yes.
But now you're telling me fourth, that's also connecting something fourth, maybe connecting also to the heart chakra.
So before, when we were talking earlier, we were thinking it was a perfect fifth, which would make C the tonic, the home note. So in this case, the specificity of the key of G, we're talking now, G is our tonic. I mean, so the vocal chakra is the main.
Oh, what is Teutonic? What is it?
So the vocal, so when you have the key,
Like the home base. When you're
Yeah.
starting from G,
that's the tonic. Yeah.
G, A, B, C,
hmm
D, E, F.
Mm.
So if we're going into the higher realms, chakra
Mm.
points, right?
Mm.
And we're starting from here as the base,
Mhm.
G, A, B, C.
Mhm.
So this is in the fourth octave. When we start at the root chakra, at the base, that's C, D, E, F, G.
Now that's a fifth.
And that's a fifth.
If we're starting from G at the throat chakra, we're going to the higher realms, and we're going into sort of like the higher octave of the root.
Oh, higher octave. Okay, so what does this mean? What they were telling me, more people, like they said, you get this out. And by the way, they are little, it's a very intense. I was like on a high for like a week. And then finally I had to have a little bit of flourless chocolate cake at from Erewhon, because I'm like, I gotta go up and I gotta come down. I mean,
I hear you.
and even before doing my live on Podbean, I think it was the day of, because I had this on a Tuesday, so I was still in that frequency, and I was rushing around. They said, "Dear one, don't rush. It'll all get done. You'll be able to do." Even today, they're like, "It'll all get done. It'll all get done in its way." And I'm just like, "Okay, you've like dumped 11 transmissions on the audio notes and video and I have to put out, and which I'm excited to, because I really have felt such an upliftment and so much love and so much interconnectedness, which they also did confirm my channeling of this energy had actually come in July. I guess that's when a lot of people started connecting to this beingness. But anyway, so what does this mean for the note? Because they were showing me, they were saying we need to do, use this, which by the way, the next day, just to kind of roll back how amazing this connection is. I'm on my live stream on Podbean and talking to the guest and people in the chat. All of a sudden, I hear these three strums.
Wow.
And I'm like, did you guys hear to the guest? Did you just hear that? He said, no. He goes, what? And I said, you didn't hear that? I go, it's some string instant boom, boom, boom string. And people in the chat heard, they said, yes, Michele, you heard it. And I said, okay, it's not me. I'm sitting here. So clearly this idea of music, because this is a frequency, a lot of people saying consciousness. I've lately watched a couple things since now I'm immersed in this frequency and vibration and energy. They talk to me more about wave and wavelength. And like if you put your hand in the middle of the water, that's what they are. It's an oscillation. It's frequency. It's a frequency that we're getting that's helping to uplift us and support us and counterbalance what's going on in the mainstream world or mainstream consciousness. And they said the way to connect in more easily and completely is through this note of C, key of G. And they showed me at one point, almost like a harmonic convergence, that at one point we're going to be playing that. There's some at a specific time, or more and more people are going to be connecting into that. Are those notes or chords? Like what is, okay, note of C, key of G. What would you call that altogether? Is that like chords?
So there's chords that correspond with each scale degree. There's also notes. So each chord in the scale degree has its own color and a major scale. So of major, minor,
Okay.
so on and so on. So C, if we're in G major, let's say, C, which is a perfect fourth from the root note, would also be a major chord. So
B and C are chords.
they so
Can be.
so this in a scale, each note is individual. So G, the note G in the key of G is the root note, and then if you go up a fourth, a perfect fourth, you'll get the note C, which is also a single note. However, there are chords that correspond with each degree of the scale, if that makes sense. And as you go up and you're playing chords, each degree of the scale will have its own quality.
Now, is one more grounding and one more uplifting or expanding, or is that not the right way to look at
No,
it?
there is harmonic convergence, as you mentioned, in the sense that the way the scale is set up with the chords that correspond to each note, you will naturally find one drawing towards the next. In other words, the four, which would be the C in this case, is a very powerful relationship, and then that'll lead you, to the next, to the next most powerful, which is the five. But you'll definitely
As you go higher in notes, meaning higher in the scale, meaning the tonality is lighter, higher, in frequency as well. Those connect more to the celestial aspects of the self, and reaches, and it's kind of like the gateway to the celestial heavens. And then when you start working your way down into the lower frequencies, into the lower tones of those notes, it connects you more into the body's somatics, into the earth plane, the core of the earth. So, does that make sense?
So what, yeah, it does. What do you make of this? I'm going to see if I can find the chat on here on my monitor. What do you make of this then? What is your, just by now talking about this?
Well, what I'm receiving right now as you were sharing the information of what you have been receiving, and I've been tuning into different podcasts since there's many people online that are sharing about their transmissions through 3I-Atlas. And what is coming up right now is that the frequency, the oscillations, the transmissions of connecting to sound vibrations, which is also just frequency, right? Just vibration of all things, seen and even unheard. Even in the silence, there is frequencies that we're not hearing, but we're receiving. So I feel that the message is to connect with kind of like your nature frequency, because everyone has a tonality within themselves. And if they can work towards moving the frequency to that G, right? Speaking your truth, mostly to ourselves, right? And then that in turn will reflect out into the world. And moving that energy up to connect with that fourth, the C, the celestial heavens. The root of the celestial heavens is what I'm getting.
Their beaming, they said, was the note of C, key of G.
Yeah, so what I just received is the root of the celestial heavens. So we're like, imagine like a lotus flower opening.
It would be like violet, right? The color would be violet at that
It's
level.
white. Well, you know, some
yeah.
systems say it's white light, violet ray, white light,
Yeah.
Around the crown. So rooting that information up, and then there's a transmission for us. So the transmission is mostly for us, our inner truths, but that will also be a way of how we start to communicate to one another in this kind of like upgrade of frequency.
That makes sense, Grace, because another thing they were saying was communication. That it's not just with them, the contact, connection, and communication. It's with us. Because I even asked, I go, why are you even telling me this stuff with the music? Because I have no clue about. And they're saying because you talk to people, so you ask questions, you talk to other people, bring other people, around, and let's talk about this. So people coming with different expertise seemed like a very collective, but also very individual activating energy, like how you're saying, like, what do you need from this? What are you receiving from this?
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that we're meant now to make contact with each other, but the connection, there was very clear that contact doesn't necessarily mean connection. I mean, it's a first step, but how are you connecting? That we're really meant to connect in with each other on a higher vibrational frequency level, that level of more resonance. And then from our connection, our heart connection, to then share. And they also were talking a lot about art and music and dance, sound, tone, frequency, but also a little bit of hiking and nature and all that. But they were very specific that the upgrades happen and the attunement to this 3I-Atlas frequency was specifically through sound and music.
Also, in Latin American countries and actually most of the world other than the United States, the note G is also soul, right? So you have that connection, which is an interesting root word for it's just pure soul connection through the voice.
What do you mean by that? Soul,
like do,
this?
re, mi, fa, sol. Do,
Okay.
re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So
I was like S-O-U-L or S-O-L? Okay, yes.
But I mean,
Now I understand.
it resonates. Wait, I lost the sound from Michele somehow.
Do you? No,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
here, I'm
Okay.
here.
I missed your singing bit.
Well, no, you.
It's sweet. It's a sweet sound. So you have that. You have the soul, which is the other word for G, sol major, sol mayor, sol major. So it's major soul voice connection. And then the other one is do, right? So do is C, traditionally. So if you work your way up from the soul to do, it's also what I always think, right? Do, adhere. So you have that, like you're saying, those upper elements, innocent, just pure energies. Yeah,
fearless.
right. Yeah, so there's that too.
It's interesting too with the harmonic convergence. It was very much about, it was energy and vibration, but it was more coming together and holding hands and just saying, hey, I'm here. I'm here with you. We're all one. We're all interconnected. This is a bit of that, but it's less local. Now, I don't know, maybe it will be more local, but by what they were showing me and telling me, it seemed to be like what we're doing now or other people in other areas. Instead of standing around the globe holding hands, which was fantastic, which was amazing. I had a small part in that. However, this seemed to be radiating out. I kept getting like a ping, like this energy coming in, but we're radiating it out through sound, tone, music.
Yeah.
Sound healing music, but which is all that fifth chakra as well, right?
Yes. It's all about that. If they're saying it's the key of G, it's all centered around soulful vocal connections. People speaking their souls, and that's going to be a wide variety of expressions, right? I mean, multiplicity of different expressions globally. But in terms of, I think the key to kind of knowing what tribe you're connecting to is what's coming from that, what's being emanated from that soul voice connection, and how it vibrates with you.
Mm-hmm.
And through music, that's probably one of the most wide kind of harmonic connections or ways to connect through that frequency there is, because you can, broadcast it.
It broadcasts infinitely, so it from this earth plane into the celestial heavens is just forever going.
Well, and imagine more connecting to this frequency, and you definitely start integrating it. I mean, that I can just definitely say, like, in some interesting, inexplicable way, my life is like completely changed from this, even to what I can accomplish. I don't know, just this lightness in the heart and uplifting. And that was one of the main messages they were saying, was about upliftment, being lifted up. And then you will know what to do once you feel more lifted, once you feel less heart heavy, you feel more interconnected, more love. And of course, then you feel more safety. Then you feel like expressing more. You feel like doing more, like doing a live. You don't know what you're doing. You just feel like I can think of, I'm among friends, and they can always delete. So I found that the whole idea was sound. And what was interesting, one of the first transmissions, I think by the end of the first and into halfway into the second session I had transmission, I realized, first of all, I had to hold my arm out and just auto record because the frequency is so expanded. You really cannot, like, doing the videos. Maybe I'll get better at that, like adjusting things. And they were also saying our devices, that energetically does step us down in frequency, too much of that. But what I would try to do, and as a conscious and a trance channel and doing channel guidance, a lot of time, the information comes in and it's pictorial, some feeling, it's all sensory perception, but it is also words. You know, I've been able to like analyze or say something, you know, like, oh, this means this or this. This transmission bypasses that. It's almost completely somatic. It leaves just a small amount to then get a sentence or two of messaging. It's not wordy. You can't be in your rational or analyzing. I mean, you're rational, but you can't be in your logic mind or analyzing. You can't be thinking of words or concepts. You're just receiving this energetic transmission, and then it does something to you that then you get what you need to get. There's just like there's a window. Like even when I got about the music, when they were talking about that C note, note of C, key of G, it was like all this energy rushing in, an upliftment, and then all of a sudden that came through, and I was like, what? And then I asked a question, you know, and then what is that? And then I said, oh, I said, I think I said note of C, note of G, and they said no, note of C, key of G, key of G. Does it? And I'm thinking, does it really matter? You know, and I'm like, and then they just repeated it, and then I just felt uplifted. And then they showed me people singing, and then I had to go do something. I had to be involved. Now I have to Google. Now I have to text Grace and Nelson. Go, what is this? So it's very interesting. It's not like a menu or list. It's triggering or stimulating something within you to do what one would naturally do. And maybe that's what you were saying earlier, Grace, about us integrating it. Was that?
Yeah, it seems like the information pathway is through the crown, and somehow that note, that higher octave C, is the connecting point, the portal opening. You know, and then we're receiving the transmissions somatically, and then we're being asked to share.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's the opposite. Like if it's the key of G, is just begin to speak your truth and then lift ourselves to that higher. Well, of course it is. It is both, of course. But if she's saying the key of G, then where we are, where our home center is here. And I feel that by just beginning to open the channel, it's going to lift us up. And actually, you're right, though. We are bringing in the energy through the crown. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Yeah. I was wondering, Michele, how was your day yesterday? Did you feel some activation in all that you're speaking of yesterday?
Yeah.
I feel,
Wednesday,
I know you did. I know I did. I've heard some other friends chiming in how they just had this incredible day yesterday. I feel like there was a point in the afternoon where there was that piercing energy that you're talking about. And noticeably, you also mentioned in one of our earlier conversations the color green, this kind of green, soft energy. I don't know if I'm making that up or if that was part of one of the early transmissions that you got that surrounds some of these words and visions.
That nature, but a lot too with the grounding through the root and into the Earth Star chakra, and I would imagine in through that portal that we have. You know, one of the later transmissions was about this whole portal activation above the crown chakra. And connecting, and I thought it was interesting because the root chakra being red and then this being blue, it's also that purple, that third wave that's coming in, and also activating the sixth chakra for that telepathic, you know, activation. Also, yeah, it seems like whatever you would kind of normally or naturally do. Okay, I went to Instagram because for some reason my chat's not showing up. It seems like whatever, like I would normally reach out, I would do my own research, but I would also normally reach out to people like I'm curious, a kid, like, well, what the heck, you know? So the message, the first time that I got was that, I can't remember exactly. It's on, I did post both of those videos on YouTube, more to come, but that they were like, don't try to figure out what it means or what you're supposed to do. You'll be like stimulated, motivated, inspired. This energy will work on you to do what you would naturally like doing or hope to do, or but excites you or inspires you.
I've been feeling that.
Have you? Okay.
100%.
Again, that fifth chakra again, right? Higher level expression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was thinking about to my day yesterday, what to Grace's point, I just felt all this, we were playing some drums and I felt all this sort of green and golden energy coming through my crown. And I play those drums a lot and it's rare that I have that experience. And I think just what was coming through was so kind of angelic and yet rooted and grounded by the drums.
It's kind of both.
Yeah, it is both. Right.
Very angelic, but very piercing, very powerful.
Very powerful. Yeah, the drums we were playing were incredibly powerful, and I find, the drum is so very grounding, root chakra kind of energy, but then it also lifts you up to the higher realms traditionally, right?
That's interesting you mentioned drums, because that was also in one of the transmissions was also bowls, but also drumming. Anything rhythmic connects us in.
Those were traditionally used in ceremonies, rituals, and all spans of culture in the shamanic realms to pass through the portal to the other side of spirits. It kind of puts you in the hypnosis state.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Nelson. I'm definitely feeling this energy now. I didn't know if it was like just me. Now I feel this presence and this frequency. But now you're saying that, I feel like more people are going to awaken to this.
I think so too.
Yeah. And they were very specific with me that it's a frequency.
Yes.
It's not just consciousness, because consciousness is everything. We're conscious, our car, everything's
right.
Consciousness made manifest. They said they're a frequency that's coming in that we're now able to absorb, embody, and transmit. Let's see, we got a question from Sunray. For the somatic frequency, is that a feeling which cannot be described? How do we know we've communicated with this consciousness? That's a great question. Well,
also they're giving you the clues, right? So they're saying
right now, yes.
They're giving you the clues. We're just saying the key of G, the note C. So you can go probably on YouTube and look up Om in the key of G and just start vibing with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And also for each note, there's harmonic resonance. So within Om, let's say in the key of G, you're going to be able to naturally, whether you know it or not, resonate with the fourth, which is C. So that's a part of the natural resonance.
And you will feel it's beyond your mind. It's beyond, it's vulnerable. It's raw. I mean, when I connected into that frequency just by seeing, I don't even know who the person's video is to this day. The person that I saw, because I didn't watch the video yet. That's another thing. I'm not really watching anything because I want to get raw transmissions. I don't want to be, swayed, but I will at some point. Actually, I did see something quickly on Instagram. It came in my feed now that I'm talking about this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But it was just a quick little reel. You will have an intense, it works on emotion, energy and motion. You will feel uplifted. You may cry. It's very emotional. I cried and cried and cried. I bawled and bawled. And then they're like, you need to put this out there unedited. I'm like, with my like, oh well, what the hell?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, you'll feel emotion. You'll feel the biggest thing is uplifted and probably inspired to do something kind
Yeah.
of with the spirit of play more. But it's emotions, emotional, grief, crying, but not just crying because you're sad. There could be some sadness for the world or humanity or what's going on, but it's that cry when this is how I describe it. When you don't like what someone did, like let's say you have a child, you don't, but you love them. You love them, but you don't like what they did, and you're crying because you love them so much, or you don't want to see them on the wrong path or track, and you're crying because you love them, or you're crying for joy. It could be a whole ball of things, but it is very emotional because it's meant to connect with our emotions. Our emotions are the carrier wave for our creating and manifesting. And I would say emotional, heart opening, heart tingling. I have never felt anything like this. So I would, maybe that's, a clue or breadcrumb for some people as well, to look for a key, a sign. But but just to your point, Nelson, they specifically said they're giving us the way to connect into them through that key of G, note of C, or note of C, key
Right.
of G. When you're playing that and connecting in, I did it like yesterday with a client of mine in session. We connected in, and and they could feel it, and they said, "Okay, now I know what to do." You have to get into the feeling of the body, whatever your body's feeling, and then it's
Right.
in through the subtle energy, those portals that we have, whether you want the portal access above the crown or whatever portal you'll get kind of transfixed. Or you'll be doing something you love doing, maybe music, and then you start feeling uplifted. That's the
Right.
best I could say. Anybody have any?
I think that's true. Just like if they're giving us a map of the key of G, like search it up, find some music that you like in that key, and see what comes. And you can also, there's so much, there's so much music to choose from in that key. Search around, find what resonates, and then see what comes to you, because they're giving a very specific, and if you do, nowadays with YouTube University again, you can go do a basic piano lesson and find the key of G and count up to the note C and just see how it
Well, that
feels
was
physically.
confusing. I tried that. I ended up going to some song because it was so confusing with
Uh-huh.
which one do you hit? But now you
Yeah.
said it's the fifth one from the.
Fourth. In the key of G would be the fourth. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about sound bowls? Do you have those notes, the C and G?
Mhm.
I have a lower octave G in front of me, and
But I imagine somebody could just get C and G, right? Let's see.
they're in octaves, so notes come in all octaves. So it really depends. One can also tone those notes, like if you were to, what would a G be? That's a G, and then higher octave C would be the fourth, and that would be.
That's nice. Okay, I want to just make sure I've got the original sound for musician on, right?
I think it's fine. Sometimes it kind of gets a little wonky.
Wow, I can feel that.
That's the G.
Which is the
C.
G?
This is the C.
That's the fourth.
Yeah.
So can you do that one? Tone this C.
Yeah.
To the G. Stay on the C.
Wow.
So it creates harmony.
It does.
That-
Okay, so
that's
harmonizing.
kind of like we were saying within the scale. That's working up.
That's the G.
So this is the tonic. Second degree is going to be a
And
minor.
I could feel that in here.
Can you tell them what note you're playing?
Wow.
So the second degree is going to be A, and the chord is a minor feeling, and then the second or the third degree is going to be a B minor, and then we work up to the C major. So you get that. But within the chordal aspects, you have right. So that's kind of that progression. You can feel it just kind of pulls you. Yeah.
It's like a
pulls you.
subtle energy massage.
Right. Right.
And doing these types of tones with your own voice is so beneficial. It's so calming to the nervous system and regenerating, actually, because it works on the cellular level where you imagine the oscillation of your water body kind of creating these kind of
Somatic
fractalized,
patterns.
fractalized patterns in your water body to the frequency that you're vibrating in with the sounds, which if you were to stay in that visualization, you can apply it to anything that you do with yourself.
Now, what would you say for us non-musicians? Whether would it be sound bowls or I know there's like notes apps or something, or playing.
There's that. There's a lot of apps out there. There's also just a pitch pipe if you want to go analog, the old-fashioned pitch pipes or a harmonica.
That would
You
be
can
cool.
you can carry it in your pocket and just kind of hit the G and just kind of feel that when you're in nature. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy, but there are really cool apps out there, I bet, as well, and meditation apps. And
Well, because
One
on
of
a
my
piano or on a harmonica, you'd have to know where it is, unless it's a beginner.
so like
right.
so the pitch pipes are used for vocal tuning or guitar tuning, and they come in specific keys. So if you went to your search engine and put in pitch pipe in the key of G, you would see it would come up, if you want to purchase it, and then there's actually a letter that would say G, C, D, and so on and so forth around the circle, and you could just,
You would do the G and then the
That's a fun way to
C.
do it.
yeah,
That's a nice analog way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite apps for toning is a Jonathan Goldman app.
What is it?
And Jonathan Goldman, Chakra, I believe it's called the Chakra Tuner. And
Okay.
it goes, you can do
Jonathan
it at
Goldman,
different,
Chakra Tuner. I'll put that.
yeah, you can set the timers on intervals from 1 minute to 1 hour. It's quite nice.
Now, for the
yeah.
Chakra Tuner, so you would just tune the root and the
It goes through the base of C to B. So C, all the bass notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B.
note of C.
So it doesn't have the higher octave C that we're talking about, because our discussion has been based
Oh, they
on.
could feel it in the chat. They're saying they could feel it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Thank
when you were
everyone.
playing. Yeah. I definitely could feel it. It gives it I don't know, an added dimension to hear the chords. Speaking of the chords, another synchronicity, not that the chords were played in my live stream, not by me or my guest or anyone in the chat. Well, there was no one else but my guest and I everyone else was in the chat. So I had other stuff like that happen, so it's not so unusual, but I found it interesting. And then I had a meeting with a friend of mine for some creative projects, and I was explaining, and I said, yeah, and I mentioned about the note of C, key of G, and she's like, oh my God, Michele, I'm playing that right now. And I'm like, what? She goes, because she's taking guitar lessons. She said, I just got back from guitar lessons, and we went over that, and she goes, it's kind of difficult because she said she had to go to D. It was easier to go to D in between or something like that. She said, so right before you called me, I was practicing my guitar, and I was practicing on that G to C, you know, C note, G, key of G. So I thought that was an interesting, and that was like 2 days after the original transmission. We had a meeting. So I found that really synchronistic and confirming that here I call this person, right? And what is she working on? Those two.
And that's just what we were playing. The same, probably what she's working on in the class. And then if she said the D would be the fifth in the key of G, which is, so you have the 1, which is in this case G, C being the 4, and then the 5 is that powerful note after the C that leads us back to the 1. So, for instance, oh, sorry. A lot of people say that's all. You only need 3 chords to write 1,000 songs, right? So that's our 1, 4, 1, 5. Right.
Now, what key is that?
That's the key of G.
It is a
So
key of G. Okay.
That's the 5.
That's the D. 5 is the D.
C. So you know that 5 sound is, yeah, that's really.
It really uplifts.
Yeah. That's probably one of the most uplifting, chord progressions we have on the planet, almost. I mean most in the most basic form. You know what I mean? I mean it is.
I find that interesting that that's the chords they gave, and you're saying it's one of the most uplifting and hard.
Absolutely. I mean, there's hundreds upon hundreds of songs or chants, or whether it's Guantanamera or Kumbaya. I mean, it brings people together. Is the
well, the
is
D
the initial,
is the sacral, right? So it's the act of creation, the source of creation.
So that's interesting. Yeah, the voice to the upper root leads to the sort of upper octave
celestial
creation.
What's the heart? What?
F.
Oh, it's F. Okay.
Yeah,
and
so
D
that
is what? Sacral? All the time I've been playing my sound bowl, I thought it was the heart chakra. I think it's the sacral. It's D, right?
D.
Ah, okay.
So the lower octave, the bass note, if you were to be on a keyboard and the bass note is always C right in the middle, the D is the note right above. And so since we're basing our conversation as G being the root note in this conversation, and we're working our way up, so it's a higher octave D. So we're going up in the piano scale, up in the piano.
So it's the transpersonal. It's getting into the intergalactic, interdimensional, interstellar. It's getting And then is it grounding that energy or anchoring it, or not necessarily? Or
I keep getting that we're receiving, right? We're receiving in these ways, and it's just
Maybe
as it comes down into the heart, it emanates forward, right? So it's coming down, as Grace is saying, from the crown, where we may get visions as it comes down. Then we have an aspect where we want to speak it, and as it moves into the heart, we expand and move forward.
Then as it drops down more and more, it gets
somatic,
into the body,
Yes.
the soma, the solar, the actual sacral of the body, the root chakra, and then and subsequently moving it down through the soles of the feet, sending it down to the earth realms.
Yeah. Well, they did say it's breaking up density, and I do feel that within myself. And I access not from the up above portal, the transpersonal with 9 chakra, actually in front was more the heart, which is interesting.
So I'm curious if, so I'm sure a lot of people in the space may be wondering, how do I access this? I want to dial in. Maybe some people are afraid of it, not ready for it quite yet. But I'm also curious if there's, a short meditation or a space that you can create for oneself to be able to kind of tap into this kind of energy that you have tapped into.
I think one of the reasons I was so able to is because I do this all the time. And one of the things on my website, there's an alignment meditation people can download for free. Helps you connect in through the subtle energy, because you're getting out of density as much as possible as you can on the earth plane to tap in. And this teaches how do you connect in through that vibrational frequency of the higher self and extend out so that you're able to, because we tend to live very much here, especially when we have a lot of fear, even our body mechanics, we shrink in energetically. And so you really do have to expand energetically through the Soma, through the auric field, and through the etheric, obviously etheric, astral. You're expanding into the interconnectedness. That's where the beam comes in, whether you want to call it interdimensional, interconnected, interstellar, interdimensional, whatever. It's the inter. It's in that you get that ping. And again, it's somatic, so it's true telepathy, which is more somatic.
Okay.
I would describe, like, I have this on my Patreon. I have how to connect in telepathic, because I do a lot of work telepathically with people and my, animals especially. It's a good practice. Telepathy, a lot of people think it's a transmission. You're not thinking thoughts. It's like when you're hungry, you have to go to the bathroom. You don't have the thought first. You have the feeling and then the thought. Or if somebody texts you, you first feel like, oh, and then you go, oh, that's Grace is texting me. You don't go, Grace is texting me, and now comes the energy. So we kind of have, right? We kind of have it reversed, right? The thought is one step. You've got, it's in the etheric into the denser physical realm. Thought, and the next step is an action or behavior or physical manifestation. That's here. You have to go up into the sensing, the feeling, the intuiting, the sensing, the vibration aspect. So if you can, and again, I think if people just practice that using that alignment meditation, again, it's free. I might have a copy on my Soul Insights and Tarot channel here on YouTube as well. But that you can just listen to on my website, soulplayground.org. You can download it for free. And it teaches, because I've had, this is the feedback I get from people. They're like, oh my God, I felt popped out and I'm just hanging there. And I go, no, that's you, the subtle energy of you. You're expanded in your energy frequency, and therefore consciousness and awareness. Or they're like, oh, I felt like I was just up there hanging. And I'm like, yeah, well, once you get used to that, because we're so used to being like with a cap on, and it's
Right.
So that's a good question, Grace. So that's one way. Grace clearing for us. Thank you.
Yes. I felt some
Little
heart
clearing.
activations as you were going through.
And I think that's why
steps.
they're saying. I think that's why they're saying music and movement and sound, because you naturally pop into that interconnected.
It clears the channels. Yeah, it gets you out of the head.
Yeah, it's all about getting out of the the lower consciousness, the beta consciousness, the conditioning. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, Grace, you had said something about, I'm going to get it wrong, nitric oxide.
nitrous oxide
some kind of cleansing or clearing with it's not the laughing gas, it's the other one, right?
nitric oxide.
Yeah.
Did I say nitrous oxide?
No, I did.
Nitric.
With those notes, that there's a purging or cleansing of some sort.
So the perfect fifth of C and G, those bass notes, activate on a cellular level a bump in the. It's scientifically proven that it kind of creates this like bump of nitric oxide production in the body when you're in that frequency, or you're using those tones, or you're listening to things that are in those notes, octaves. And
I'm going to have you move the mic a little closer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that production actually, the presence of nitric oxide is very deeply healing on a microcellular level of cells that need regeneration and preparation. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah, so on a cellular level, tissues, the imbalance of red blood cells, white blood cells, and anything that's within the body that is imbalanced on a cellular level, it creates these boosts. Now, like with any subtle energy healing modality, you're basically creating it to be in your life. You're integrating it where it's just a daily practice, because it's not like take a pill and you get a boost of nitric oxide and everything's healed. No,
but you're saying these notes or chord, that can help with the production of that and create some kind of regeneration on a cellular level, if I'm hearing you right.
So the base of the perfect fifth, we go to C and G, and then it's D and F. Is that right? Or DNA?
Yeah, DNA would be a fifth.
That would be another fifth.
But also in this context that Michele was saying, in the key of G, it is a fourth. So you would be, yeah.
But if the fifth from the G would be the D. From our discussion.
Yeah, it would be the D, yeah.
The G as the bass, and then going into the higher octave D, that's also a fifth. So
right,
if
true.
Nelson were to play the G and the D.
And it's nitric oxide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the D. Yeah, that's interesting, because that's the fourth. That's a different sound. Very good sound.
You're playing the fourth right now.
The root, G, and the fourth, C. Yeah. And together they sound like that.
And then if you did G and D. Wow, such a different vibe.
Yeah. So from exactly what Michelle's saying, it would be this: just the two notes without any chords together.
That's the fourth.
That's just
C and
G on the bottom, C on the top, in the lower register. And that's the fifth, which is the D. G and D.
It's definitely heart pinging.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of vibratory.
Definitely.
And then there's what is it called? It's harmonics, like when you hear sounds in between
Yeah.
the bass notes,
Yeah.
right? So anytime you're hearing any instruments, even crystal bowls, you get these harmonics.
Right.
But this happens more
Like that's a
with
harmonic of G.
classical instruments.
Wow. Yeah, so I think people doing what they said, people through music, through these notes, through tone. I think I got the ping just by seeing it on YouTube. I was going to watch the video, an astrology video, while I was getting ready. But I was already in this state because I had meditated earlier. I think they were trying to ping me. I did this deep meditation. Then I came out, and then I was laying in bed, and then I was like, oh, while you're getting ready, brushing your teeth, doing everything, let's listen to some astrology. And I just clicked. It came up in, recommended videos, and I just saw 3I-Atlas, and all of a sudden I went, because Sunray, who's also in the chat, he had mentioned it. Well, Dr. Jude Currivan, she was on our cosmologist and physicist like 3 weeks ago. She was on Awakenings podcast. Actually, the replay is on this channel, in the Awakenings with Michele podcast playlist. She mentioned a little, but she didn't go deep. She didn't really say. She just said it was like this object, whatever. It was just very light, and I just kind of dismissed it because I really didn't have any connection. I thought, or didn't want to study anything about interstellar or solar flares. I'm like, my plate is full. I don't have time to learn that right now. So I really was just open. I guess I was in the right frequency, or matched frequency somehow. I don't know, but just by looking at it and then ping, and now that energy, that frequency has just been with me. That beingness has just been totally with me. I can just shift into it, just at will, which eventually I feel more channels are going to be able to do this, and us as conduits, everyone. It's a shift in consciousness. It's to me, it's like the meditative state. It's like, why in my book, Meditation for Everyday Living, they're short meditations, because it is our true state, our true nature. So we can use something to ping ourselves, to a higher vibrational frequency, or peace, or calm, or use music or something to do that as well. But we are these various states of awareness and consciousness. So we're able to do that more at will. So I would say, as people are getting more comfortable with extending out into the subtle energy and living more from that, living more from the higher self, get that alignment meditation on my website and just start practicing, make it your own. Just start bumping out, extending out. I think that's the ecstatic dance. It's to recognize your own portal. What clicks you in? I know, because I do it over and over. What I can tell, when is this Michele? When is this psychic? And when am I a conduit, or when am I channeling? It's a different frequency. By the way, on that note, it's even a more expanded frequency than the guides that I normally use. It's just different. The guides, the oversouls, and the spiritual hierarchy are very much about teaching, relaying information. That's where I had gotten all the information about the pandemic and Trump getting in and all this stuff that I predicted, and all those visions. Their thing is not to guide us like the oversouls do, or the spiritual hierarchy. They're not telling us necessarily, oh, this is coming up. They're kind of, that frequency is helping us, preparing us, or getting us to what we need to be and do, and how we are, that frequency.
Yeah.
It's not tutorial. And they were very clear about that. That's not, it's frequency. It's not heady.
Right. It's like when you're in play, you can't think about, you might have an impulse to run and catch the ball, but if you think about it, you're going to be immediately overthinking it, right? And when you're in play, you're in flow, and that somatic response is just automatic.
Yeah, I'm wondering, to your point, if that's the idea, is to help us to be more in that, so we're responding in flow and not thinking.
Absolutely.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, when dolphins play, or any group of animals together, they're just in a energetic flow with each other. Yeah.
And telepathic. So
yeah.
From that to return to
and resonating sonically with each
Yeah.
other and passing signals.
And maybe it's trusting this, because it's true. When you get those messages, you get that. We call it a lot of times a ping. You get the ping, and then it's like, oh, so and so. Then sometimes even the person's face comes in, the image.
Right.
But you don't get the image first, and then the ping. That's what people have to get. You have to you got to trust your ping. You got to trust your ping.
That's like
Think ping.
that's It's a bumper sticker.
Not think.
Right?
Ping and don't think. Yeah. Gotta trust the
Don't
ping.
overthink your pings. Anything else you want to share? And then maybe we'll do more of these. We'll connect more because we have people asking, you know, the music. I really appreciate you both taking the time. I know you're really busy and you're.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
This was very enlivening to get your message and to play and experiment. And I love that everyone just kind of like waited, held on, chimed in exactly, you know, their own timing.
Did your friend John, was he able to find us? Did he stay in?
He did find us, but I think he was more of the audio and visual help angel today. He had to take off once we got it set up. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll send it. And maybe we'll do a panel with other people too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just connect with more people, contact.
Feels good to be sharing this with as many as people as possible so they can kind of just have ideas about how to practice it and where to go. And we can do our own tonings here and also, you know, we can all create something to share as well.
Yeah, create something like to just another time to connect and tone together. And because you can definitely feel it when you were strumming, you could definitely feel that. Yeah, it just seemed like the connecting, right? The contact connection.
That's everything right now.
Well, it's obvious that this the cosmos are definitely pinging us. 3I-Atlas, Lemon Comet, we're under the Orinoid meteors, you know, till early November. So we're moving through the kind of the remnants of Halley's Comet as we're moving through our orbit. So there's a lot of stuff like literally flying around us, and how as sensitive beings are we, even if you're not sensitive to these energies, how are we not affected or picking up or shifting and changing and transmutating subtle to massive energetics within ourselves, right?
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's like an activation with all this. The cosmos is just activating everything. They did. I want to touch on just briefly before we close. There is a strong Sirian connection, the Sirius constellation, starseed, obviously, but it's beyond that. Again, it's beyond a lot of constructs. They kind of didn't want me to get too much into that, and a bit of correspondence to the Pleiadian connection. So a lot to do with healing, light, service, being of service. They did bring up connecting more to our doggies, our animal beings. They're helping us telepathically. They're helping us with the healing and the heart opening. But again, the other thing they kept saying is that it is a frequency. They are a frequency. They're an amalgamation of, and they said they'll be renamed. Multiple planets, or masses or aggregation of energetic influences that create this frequency. So it seemed like this is just kind of the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's more about the frequency than, and like you said, what both of you said, how is it impacting us individually, and then what do we feel called to do? And the connecting, the sharing, the communication, the talking, each person having their take or their experience and expertise, it comes together in this complex of frequencies that all fit in with this main frequency that's rooting, that's grounding or anchoring, and uplifting, I guess, both anchoring and expanding. So how can people get in touch with? Grace, go ahead. What did you want?
Oh, I was just feeling so grateful to you and for being so dedicated and so called to this acts of service, and so many years. If you don't know about Michele's work and you're just tuning in, she has been in the field, literally and metaphorically,
Yeah. In the field.
decades doing this work. Yeah, yeah. And the fact that you've navigated through all the technology upgrades and have expanded in the ways of sharing in a limitless way. You're just not afraid of, going on this platform, that platform, sharing it on all streams. And you're just like, we need to get this information out there. So I'm just so grateful that we get to work in intimate ways and share in this way as well. And I'm very excited for these kinds of invitations. So thank you.
Yes.
Well, when I years ago started doing awakenings and other things like this and kind of playing around, my one thing was, because my learning lessons are in it and my growth and expansion and experience was like, unless it's absolutely horrible, like once play goes, it goes. I've had many things that are like, oh my God, what did I say, or what did I do, or look at that, how I look, but it's like, I think that's also 3I-Atlas, that vulnerability and this play, spirit of play, like a kid, playing with the chords, playing around, like we got together, let's just try it and do this, and yeah, hopefully I feel more to come and more getting in that flow state of play and just like less judgment, because 3I-Atlas, really no judgment. There's so much compassion and love energy that is kind of like, okay, if it works, it works. Let's just throw it out there, get on live, let's just do it,
Yes.
It's not like this is like a this is not like a designated company or something with like a whole team that's setting it up and just saying do it. It's like, okay, get your little mic, get going. Grace and Nelson, come on, let's do it.
Oh yeah, we're all in our dwellings, just like, oh, where's the cable? I can't.
Yeah.
I can't get around this thing and that thing.
Yeah. And I love that too, because I feel that generates a
stuff.
lot of more juice, soul connecting juice. And you both are always so supportive, and Grace, you've always been a great support and inspire. And even when you said, I said, okay, we just got to hang up, and you're like, a reset is always good. So relax. Grace, miss relaxation. Yeah, let's just redo it, whatever, So I thank you for that as well.
Oh yeah. Machines, yeah. You know how they are. And also when we tune in for live things like this, these things have happened, right? And it's so interesting. I noticed as soon as we clicked into the second time around, where we were able to be fluid in the transmission, the computer fan stopped.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been off the whole time.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Synchronistic message.
Yes.
So how can people connect with both of you? Give some ways. I'll put in the description, but yeah, a few.
I'm Nelson Marquez, and you can find me at nelsonmarquezlife on Instagram, and my website is nelsonmarquez.life. On Instagram, it's just all one run-on word, Nelson Marquez Life.
Life or live or life?
Life, L-I-F-E.
Okay, Nelson Marquez.
Yeah,
Life.
on Instagram.
On Instagram.
And nelsonmarquez.life is my website.
Okay, very cool.
And my website is graceunheaoh.net, and it's graceoh.net. And the Instagram is graceunheaoh, and unhe is my Korean name, and it's all kind of one word. So you will have to go to the link to see how it's spelled. If you
Yeah, I'll put links there. And I'm just reminded, because I will put this up on November 14th. If anybody's in the Los Angeles area or you want to fly in, Grace and I are doing an amazing shamanic interplane journey, sound, energy, frequency transmission, also connecting with your guides, your higher self and your guides, through wakeful dreaming. So if that's something, maybe I'll put that in the
Yeah, I think
or in the
great.
description box. I
so
just
they
thought
can
I was
see.
looking at you while you were saying it. I thought, oh, but why don't you tell people?
Yeah.
So
And it'll be at a really sweet and beautiful space here in Venice, California. It's an apothecary and tea shop. It's a very special, unique space.
Anima
And then
Mundi.
the Anima Mundi
Anima
Herbals, it will
Mundi.
be in the garden space.
World Soul.
Mhm.
Anima Mundi. So
And the link will be in the description also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
to
that's
sign up. Congratulations.
yeah, put it in, and you can get to know those of you that don't yet know us on this level, this dimension. You can connect with us and get to know us more. Let us get to know you more. Leave in the comments any questions you have, anything you want to hear or see more of, or kind of just starting to come more. This has been like a placeholder. Even Soul Insights and Tarot was a placeholder from when I was doing workshops and seminars and doing a lot of courses and teaching at Agape Spiritual Center, meditation and metaphysical courses. I just would upload videos every now and then for the students. You know, it was a bookmark in the cosmos, in the interwebs, and now using it more, activating more. And so we're going to be doing more here as well. And so if you have anyone has any ideas or guest suggestions or topic suggestions, or Grace, Nelson, and I will definitely be back to share. But this is really a place to connect and keep the conversation going. So I hope those that are watching, join the conversation, share the video and share your thoughts. And some of you may be having your own experience also with 3I-Atlas as well.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay, guys.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michele.
Thank you. Thanks so much, you guys, for taking the time. I learned a lot. I still am fuzzy about the whole fifth to the fourth, the G to the E.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, but at least it's given me some ideas of how to connect in on a musical frequency level and some meaning. So it really helped me a lot to understand this frequency more and how to activate it, and kind of gave me more understanding of why its importance through the notes. What does it mean, and what kind of a little bit more of what's it doing. So
Another aspect of the language of connection.
oh
right?
yeah, through music as a language.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's a whole other good topic. That I didn't even think about that. So that's another way. It's the language to connect in.
Yes.
Love it. All right, Radiant Soul Lights. Okay, so everyone, lots of love and light, and just continue to shine your light and keep the conversation going. Join it and keep the conversation going.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye for now.